It's finally here.
Yeah.
Finally, the end.
The one that I have been told is the best. Like,
Jet Jaguar?
no.
First Megalon?
I still can't believe that's going to be at the rate we're going, it's going to be the best one. I mean, Final Wars might usurp it.
Maybe.
But it's going to be tough. But I have heard nothing but high praise for Destoroyah. It's
Look, they wanted to copyright Destroyer, but, like, they were told they couldn't.
So they instead went with the Angrish Destoroyah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't mind it.
He's got, like, laser horns.
Cool. That's not promising.
Not laser beams. Laser horns.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway.
It's like a sword out of his face.
Oh. Okay.
He's also got beams. Because everybody's got beams. Except I think his are purple.
Can we just call the Heisei the laser era?
I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah, no, it's just been nothing but lasers.
Alright, we'll see you in, I don't know, 103 minutes.
God damn it. Okay. Alright, so...
It's over. Godzilla's dead. Finally.
We killed him.
24 parts and we're done. Godzilla's over. No more Godzilla after this.
Nope, we're done. Totally done.
Except for the next thing when Godzilla's in.
God damn it. Anyway. Yeah, so... This was actually a good movie.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Which was nice, considering it came off the heels of Space Godzilla, which was bad.
Yes, it was.
There was physical fighting. The beams weren't just for show. They did things. There was a hilarious tail drag.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Anyway, so we start off, and the whole goddamn island that Godzilla lives on is gone. Fucking sunk to the ocean, apparently, because it was filled with uranium.
Yeah, I don't think it sunk into the ocean. I think it got time traveled back, and you know.
No. I mean that's how we know uranium works.
Yeah, just you
Just
rub it in your
together.
hands,
Yeah.
and boom, time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever time period you want to go, it knows.
Fucking stupid. So yeah, the island is gone, and everyone's like, and the one psychically he's like, "Where's Junior?" It's like,
Dead.
totally dead.
Probably in a hole somewhere.
Some random teenagers like it's totally dead. And Godzilla has heartburn.
A very serious case of heartburn.
That has led to a fever. He's got disco fever. And man, is it bad. He is almost literally on fire.
I mean, he's literally expelling steam.
He's boiling water as he moves.
Yeah, it's real good. Real good time.
Yeah, it's awesome. And some random teenager is like, I know what's going on, and I told the Americans about it.
I sent GeForce my DVD, and I sent the Americans my DVD. You guys just didn't.
You guys didn't give a fuck, so that's why I sent it to the Americans. So now you'll listen.
And then he's recruited. He's top scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the grandson of one of the characters from the original.
Either the grandson or the son. Because the one kid was pretty young. He was the adopted son of the main scientist from 54.
Not Sarazawa.
No.
Who was the main scientist.
Yeah. And so we get to learn about a guy who's also doing stuff with oxygen. I don't remember his name.
It was Dr. How is Sarazawa spelled backwards?
No, it wasn't Sarazawa spelled backwards. It was like Izumi or something like that. And he's like, I'm making micro-oxygen, and it can make fish real big. And people are like, he's making the same thing. And I'm like, it's not the same thing.
And then it was the same thing, but in giant monster form.
Well, no, he had soil samples from the area where Godzilla died.
So the reason that they went there is they're building a tunnel, I think.
Yeah, and for some reason the elevator shaft melted.
Yeah, just the shaft melted, and he's just like, well, trying to collect some dirt.
Yeah, it's like,
I'll put it in my weird little jiggle machine, and I'll jiggle it around, and then I'll see if there's anything in it. Because I'm weird like that.
Yeah, and they're like, we found something. What? That's crazy. And then they keep jiggling around, and he's like, anything else? He's like, no, it's nothing there.
No, it disappeared. I don't know where it went.
And then he looks at the tube, or the weird.
So there's
glass.
some dirt on the counter.
Yeah.
And that's what prompts him to look at the
thing.
The thing, and there's a tiny hole that Micro Godzilla from Power Hour escaped through.
Clearly. And then we cut to a security guard at an aquarium saying hello to all the fish.
Hello, Yellow Tang. Hello, Blue Tang.
Hello, Destoroyah.
Hello, Eel. Hello, Clownfish.
And then he watches as we get to see, in graphic detail, the effects of the oxygen destroyer.
Oh, these fish just deteriorate.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so much better than it was in 54.
Just
fucking photo transition.
Well, you know, we had
skeleton.
the technology. 42 years will do that.
True. And he has a complete, utter panic attack.
So much so that they have to fill a condom with cold water and just put it on his head.
Yeah, because he's so attached to the fish. And he's like, something's wrong. And then they like zoom in on a thing, and it's this weird crab thing. And he's like, well, this is bad.
No, I'm sure it's fine. It just doesn't look like any creature that we've ever seen before.
Yeah, so then weird things start to happen, and they deploy the military. Or, like special cops or something.
Now, when you say weird things, it's just a bridge fucking explodes.
Oh, yeah!
While the silhouette of a creature just zooms on by.
No attempt to animate it in any way that makes it seem like it's walking. It just goes, whee!
It just zooms on by. Fucking bridge collapses. And they're like, well...
Send in the military.
Send in Sump.
Send in Sump, who are the equivalent of colonial marines. Motion tracker and all.
Mm-hmm. So they, Sump heads into the worst shaped building. I know it's a real building, but it's just a big old...
Yeah, it's like a parking... It feels like a parking garage with weird doors.
There's like a bunch of negative space to it.
Yeah.
Like, it arches. It comes up and it makes like a...
Yeah. Oh, fucking
It's
no.
dumb.
But anyway, they start trying to fight these things, and it's just a crab version of the alien.
Yeah.
Or the xenomorph. I apologize.
Yeah, you know, all those Aliens fans who are watching us.
There's probably a lot of people who like Alien.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of them, but I mean...
Watching this, I mean...
Yeah, how many of them are going, Godzilla, that'll satiate my alien thirst.
I mean, kind of. But yeah, no, they start going around and they have weird breath that creates little portals inside of people's chests. It's very weird. The guns don't do shit. The flamethrowers do a good job. And so do grenades and rocket launchers. We watch as one of them literally vanishes.
Yeah, he's just like...
Engulfed in flame and just gone. It's fucking
I think
great.
that's the only one they killed.
No, they killed a couple.
There's a room there's a part where they open up the room They throw a grenade in there, and then they just, with their forward momentum, slam through the wall.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't do anything to them.
My favorite quote-unquote kill, though, was the ramming speed, where it just runs into a guy and then runs through the wall. These are the Kool-Aid men of Godzilla monsters.
I mean, they do break through walls. It's kind of what they do.
It's kind of awesome. And then the one lady who I don't remember her name. She was helping out new Oxygen Destroyer man, who we were begging to get an eye patch.
Yeah.
Because he kind of looked like Serizawa.
Yeah, at one point I'm like, I want him to, at some point, have the eye patch, like, crossfade onto him.
Mm-hmm.
And then also turn black and white.
Yeah.
Like, him specifically.
It would have been amazing. But yeah, so while this is happening, they're also trying to deal with Godzilla melting down. And they're like, we need an Oxygen Destroyer.
And he's like, wait a minute, you told me yesterday don't make a weapon out of this. And now you're like, no, make a weapon out of it.
And well, before they go to talk to him, the teenager is talking to a lady who's related to the one other lady who knew Serizawa. And as they're talking about the Oxygen Destroyer, it suddenly, like, focuses in on a picture of Serizawa in the background, just being like, don't do it. And we were waiting for the Dr. Izumi or whatever to be like, because the thing I was waiting for was him to be like, you want me to make an Oxygen Destroyer? And then all this happens, like, wait, I already made an Oxygen Destroyer. Oh no, the curse! And that's when the eye patch shows up. But, yeah, so...
So the Destoroyah's, I want to say this is probably his third form at this point. The weird, the xenomorph form.
Yeah, the 10-foot tall, spider-like.
So it busts out of the building.
Yeah,
and everybody's just like, time to bail.
Yep. Everyone ceases their ladder matches and runs away, except for the cops, who fail to do anything to it, as it chases this one lady around.
Well, one of the cops gets blasted through a wall, and then they're just like, well, we're done here, let's go.
Yeah, no, they're just like, fuck it. But yeah, this one lady, it starts, like, crawling around, looking around.
She's hiding behind a car at this point, because, instead of running.
Yeah. And then there's a whole scene where it looks like she's about to get something from this creature, and it's not okay.
Yeah, probably a cab fare.
And it completely fucks up the car and actually cuts it in half with its Oxygen Destroyer breath. And then that's when Scientist Man shows up and rescues her, and that's also when Sump the Chomps finally show up with their flamethrowers. And just roast the fucking thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, there's a lot that happens in this movie.
Yeah, it's a dense movie.
It's very fast.
And so that ends as they're burning it alive. And it's clearly not dead. Like, Destoroyah as an entity is clearly not dead. So they're like, alright, we need to make a weapon. And so they take the micro-oxygen and they cool it to the point where it becomes a liquid. And they're like, okay, this super freezing bullshit, it'll kill monsters.
It'll just destroy the hell out of them.
So they make a bunch of freezing weapons. And they're like, it's time to fight against the Destoroyahs. And it's like, wait, what? I thought you already killed them. And then they just start to come out of the ground. And I'm like, okay. And we watch as the worst looking battle scene in all of Heisei is taking place as these creatures clearly on like tracks or something are just moving about.
It is a shooting gallery. Like they're just moving back and forth, sideways.
It's great.
Not even like animated, just being dragged.
Yeah, no, just the toys of them moving awkwardly back and forth as weird little effects are taking place. And then suddenly, as they're trying to freeze them all, they're like, the micro-oxygen levels or the oxygen destroyer levels, I don't fucking remember.
I think it was the micro.
I don't know.
Something was high.
Something made the cylinders skyrocket, and then they all joined
They had
together.
a computer program with a bunch of cylinders on it.
It was fucking weird. And then they all like shoot through the metaphorical roof, and suddenly there's a giant one of these things. It's not Destoroyah in his proper form, but it's a giant spider-like monster with the dumb head, and I immediately go, oh hey look, maybe it'll be better, and I watch as it just slides forward, and I was like, nope.
No, it was very
It was just as poorly literally animated as the originals. And
except large.
Yes, and it proceeds to destroy all the tanks and all the special freeze beam bullshit, and
then it flies off.
Yeah, and then it turns into a flying creature. It's very awkward.
It just kind of flies around terrorizing town.
Yeah, it just starts dropping invisible bombs of micro-oxygen and just flies around, and everyone screams and runs away. And they're like, well, shit. And then teenager boy is like, you know, I have an idea. I bet Destoroyah, or the Destroyer, if it fought Godzilla, you could kill him and keep him from fucking exploding.
That's how we'll get rid of Godzilla. Just, fight Destoroyah.
Yeah. No, that's totally smart.
Also, at some point, they find Godzilla Jr.
Yes.
He washes up on shore.
He just shows up at a beach and is like, what's up?
Jaws ain't got nothing on me. And then, so there's two psychics now. One from America, one the same, and then there's one who's been in like the last 5 movies.
My favorite part is when our classic psychic comes up to talk to her. He's like, oh, you're new? It's like, yeah, I'm a paleontologist, so I'm good with dinosaurs. And I was like, no, you're good with dead dinosaurs. Being a paleontologist does not make you good with living dinosaurs. Jurassic Park taught us this.
She was also played by Chris Pratt.
Sure.
From Jurassic World, where he was controlling the dinosaurs. Do you see Jurassic World?
No.
Oh, then never mind then. Screw it. He controls the raptors.
Well, yeah, because he trained with them. He's not a paleontologist.
He might as well be. Anyway, so they decide to brainjack Godzilla Jr. and tell him, hey, go to Tokyo. There's a fun surprise there for you.
Yes.
Your dad will be there, we swear. He's coming.
Eventually.
He's coming back after all these years.
Yes. And so our green mini Godzilla shows up, and imperfect Destoroyah is there, extra limbs and all, to take him to task. And it goes kind of poorly for Junior for a bit.
Junior's never fought anything before.
That's true.
And Destoroyah's got kind of a few extra limbs, and so just kind of wails on him, hits him with a couple beams.
Yeah, and then
knocks him over,
and then he gets pinned underneath.
Destoroyah does a super jump.
Yes.
And just, if you've got an older brother, you probably know this one where they sit on you,
mm-hmm.
and they've got you pinned down. You can't do anything with your arms because they're holding you down, and
Yep. It's a bad time.
It was that.
And then his inner mouth went into Junior's chest.
And he inserted micro-oxygen while sucking out blood or something.
Fucking dumb. And then Junior proceeds to blow off 2 of his limbs with a beam. And it was like, wow, alright. Beams are doing something. And they're actually destroying a suit. That's crazy.
Well, that's because they're never going to use the suit again.
It's true. And, so Junior, like, fucks up this form of Destoroyah. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think he basically knocks him into a factory or something like that, and
he just fucking blows up.
Just decides, well, okay, time to go walk around town until Dad shows up.
Yeah, and then
time to see the sights.
And then the 2 of them see each other, and they call out to each other, and they're getting ready for that running embrace. And then suddenly, out of the fire and the flames, appears the demon lord himself, proper, full-on Destoroyah, like 120 meters tall, freaking huge, and just proceeds to fly over and go to, which one does he hit first?
Godzilla.
Yeah, goes to Godzilla and goes, bitch, and just smacks him, knocks him over.
Yeah, so, like, he actually moves his arm while he's flying. It's not just some sort of, like, shoulder tap.
No, it's just, he smacks him, he just goes, bitch. And then comes over to Junior and goes, bitch, you're coming with me. Picks him up.
And he's just like, Space Godzilla, take notes. This is how you abduct a child.
Indeed. And then he's like, oh yeah, Space Godzilla put you in a hole? How about you get put in a hole? And just goes, bitch, and just drops him.
Now, of course, this doesn't sit well with Godzilla. He's mad now.
Oh, he's pissed off. He's heated in multiple ways at this point.
Still expelling steam.
So much steam. Much glowing. And so they kind of tussle. And there are some limbs, like, flopped around. And then Godzilla is knocked to the ground. I don't remember the exact process. A lot of the fight is kind of...
Yeah, a lot of the fight just kind of happens.
And there's beams, but we don't need to talk about those. We need to talk about...
But the beams actually do something. Like, there's visible damage with them.
There is, but not in the early stage.
Is there not?
No, because a lot of the early beams came from Destoroyah.
Well, Godzilla gets, like, slashed open.
That does happen.
That's not from a beam, though.
Yeah, that happens later. So, what I want to get to is when Godzilla gets knocked down and Destoroyah grabs his neck with his tail.
Ah, yeah.
And then we have to watch as he starts to fly and Godzilla just starts to get dragged. And we watch the plane takes off from an airport.
It's a scene that, like, this is happening while elevator music is playing.
Pretty much.
Like, elevator music would fit perfectly over this scene.
Oh my god.
Because it's in the background.
It's so good. And Godzilla gets up out of the water. He's like, what the fuck was that? And there's some more tussling and some beams that do some serious damage to Destoroyah. And then Destoroyah goes, you know what? I'm gonna pull out fucking Cutman from fucking Mega Man 7. Or, no, that's not Cutman. I think that's Slash Man.
It's probably Slash Man. Cutman's from 1.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull out Slash Man's moves. And just, like, Energy Horn, like, cuts through Godzilla. And it looks really friggin' cool. It's the coolest sort of a projectile that's kind of not a projectile.
It's still very much a physical attack.
Yeah, and it's really cool, and it does some serious damage, and then Godzilla just retaliates and starts blowing chunks off of God, I keep wanting to say Destoroyah.
Yeah, he opens up his weird chest hatch.
And just like is reaching in there to grab some goodies. And
I'm gonna get some micro oxygen.
Right out of the butthole. Anyway,
so at this point, God damn it, no, I'm doing it.
Yeah. No,
Destoroyah is now like, you know what? Fuck it, going back and form. And like they detach from each other.
It just turns into like a dozen mini crab things, and they just swarm all over Godzilla, and it's just a bad time all around. And Godzilla like throws one.
Yeah, and it explodes as it lands.
It's great.
There's one in the foreground who can't quite figure out how to get over like the concrete divider in the highway. He's just like, really love to get in this fight, but guys, I'm sorry.
I can't. Like I'm like backing up, like looking for different ways to get over, and then there's no resolution to that.
It just kind of cuts over to Junior on the ground, and like Godzilla's walking towards him.
Yeah, like we don't see what happened.
Because I think I even asked him, like, yo, where the fuck did the Destroyers go?
Yeah.
Like, they're just gone.
They're just, we're just not dealing with them anymore. We're instead gonna go, and Godzilla tries to, like, breathe life into Junior, and Junior's just like, Dad, I'm dead.
Dad, your breath smells like fish.
It's
gross.
I'm done. You smell like Destoroyah. Well, yeah, I've been fighting him. I reached my arm from deep inside. But, yeah, and then he dies, and then Godzilla gets even more pissed off.
And they're like, Godzilla can't understand why his family is dead.
It's just like, I don't know. And so, that's when Destoroyah, in proper form, comes back. And Godzilla's just, like, not having it. He's just done. And he's just blowing parts off of him. And then the military finally does something. Because they're standing by because Godzilla's about ready to melt down.
Yeah, Godzilla's probably about 1100 degrees at this point, 1170. And, like, his dorsal fins are actually starting to melt at this point.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Like, Destoroyah can't even get in close because, like, he's just...
Oh, yeah, he's just radiating it. Like...
He's alternating between the get away from me move and the beams.
Yeah.
And Destoroyah's just like, I don't fucking know what to do.
I can't even get near him.
I don't have any approaches to this.
I got nothing. Like, I'm gonna just try and fly away, and that's when the military freezes him.
Yeah. And they're like, Destoroyah's gonna fall on Godzilla. And then he falls like maybe 100 feet away from him.
What's even better is when they say that, it's like Godzilla heard it, and he looks up. And then just Destoroyah just falls in front of him and blows up. And then Godzilla finally reaches 1200 degrees and just starts to melt down. And that's when they start shooting him with all the ice and stuff. And then we watch as he turns into god-awful CG.
CG from 96.
And then it actually starts to melt. And, like, his flesh melts off of his bones.
And then his bones melt.
I don't remember his bones melt.
Oh, his bones melt.
That's dumb.
I think. I'm pretty... They at least distort on the way down.
It's very awkward, and it looks terrible.
He is a puddle at the end.
He is. And it's so horribly irradiated to the point where it actually gets the pilot man to emote. Okay,
so yeah, we didn't mention this before, but the Super X3, the pilot for that is the pilot who was in Biollante.
Mm-hmm.
And at no point in the movie, aside from this one scene, does he ever like show any kind of hint of interest in being here.
No, he is just...
He is battle-hardened.
He is just a plank of wood that is given lines to read.
And
Until Godzilla is emitting so much radiation that he has to say something. Like, wow, the radiation! And I was just like, what the fuck? But yeah, so the radiation's really bad, and then it starts to fall. And you made the comment of like, why would it just disappear? And I'm like, well, there kind of is a sponge for radiation sitting in the middle of Tokyo.
Why would it dissipate that quickly? And then
yeah,
there was a sponge.
there was a sponge. It was Junior, and Junior has become a full-fledged big old Godzilla, who will unfortunately do nothing because there will be no more movies.
Yeah, they're gone. It's over. Wow, amazing.
Heisei is done. This is the end of Heisei, and thank God it ended on a high note.
Yeah.
Not the highest note, in my opinion, but a high note.
I mean, it was better than probably the last 3 movies.
It's better than all of them in terms of monster combat, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but that's not really a high bar to clear.
Not at all.
Like, the only, like, really high bar was, like, Megalon.
Yeah. Nothing's gonna clear Megalon. Not until maybe Final Wars.
Ah, yes, Godzilla 98.
Or maybe GMK, for all I know.
GMK might.
Or, against Mechagodzilla or Tokyo SOS. I mean, I don't know. Depends on how good the comment is. And the plot. But anyway. Alright. Let's get to this rating.
Let's do it.
Destoroyah. Monster Combat. This was an all-time high to the point where I would honestly give it like an 8.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
It was very, very good. The visual effects, there were some CG shots that were bad.
There was some practical shots that were bad. And
Was there?
Yeah, all the fucking Xenomorph Destoroyah move. You know.
That was awful.
Because like, they had to make it look like it if they didn't show like it moving on the ground, if they kept the camera like a waist high or a little bit higher.
Yeah.
But like as soon as you could see how it was moving, it didn't look very good.
It reminded me of Kumonga, but like you gave Kumonga a pass because
there was like 30 people operating.
Yeah,
that thing.
Like there were so many damn legs, and they kept it off the ground, and this one just it was rough. And it was several decades later, so you're just like, what the flying fuck are you doing?
The oxygen destroyer beams, especially when they hit the police, and it was just a vortex on top of them.
And we don't get to see anything else happen because I guess they can't show people dying in such bad ways. Yeah, that was dumb.
But CGI that was good. Or like any visual effects that were good. I'm sure there's some stuff.
I mean, we got to watch the Destoroyah suits get.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was nice, for once.
Destoroyah was filled with liquids.
Many greenish liquids.
Greenish, yellowish liquids.
It was gross.
The fish decaying was pretty cool.
That was impressive. It was nice to see the oxygen destroyer happen in real time.
How did you feel about the theoretical Godzilla meltdown where just like he explodes and then he just like travels into the sky?
That was pretty dumb. But that was a computer simulation, so I give it that one gets like a complete pass.
All right.
So, I appreciate him melting into the earth and watching as it stretched the texture for the earth as it did it. But yeah. Damn it. So...
Wait, was the first meltdown a CGI thing?
They were all CGI.
Oh.
Because it wasn't a meltdown until...
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm thinking the explosion. Yeah, I guess that was...
Yeah. They took the phrase meltdown literally. It was hilarious. It melted down.
I think the parts where like Godzilla's suit was actually melting was pretty cool, like the dorsal fins.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was CG. I think that was just they lit the rubber on fire and
Yeah, it actually melted.
Seven or eight? Maybe 7.
Well, because I'm looking back and we gave Mechagodzilla an 8.
Why the fuck did we give Mechagodzilla an 8?
Probably because there weren't any problems.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'll give it a 7, as much as I don't want to. Okay, the plot. The plot of this was good. It was fun to follow. I had a good time.
There was a mystery aspect to it, like what was Destoroyah gonna be?
And like, was this scientist man going to become Serizawa again? We all wanted it. But honestly, let's see. Biollante got an 8. I would say the plot actually was better than Biollante. And remember that we gave Megalon a 10.
I mean, we did.
We can give this a 9, and it will be okay.
Yeah, 9's fine.
Because the plot was good, and it was fun to follow, and it was just a decent one. There were sectionable parts. It wasn't horribly confusing. It was not Biollante levels of like information overload.
There was a lot of like. The only thing I would say bad about the plot was there was a lot of them pulling references from earlier movies.
I thought that was great.
I mean, no, that was pretty cool. Like that you see other characters, but this like, shit, do I recognize that guy?
Oh god!
Oh god, which one was he?
Yeah, that was rough.
Because it took me like a solid minute to realize that the pilot was the pilot from Biollante.
Yeah, I was when they said we have our best pilot on it. I was sitting there like, yes, bring him back.
Like I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, is it gonna be the guy from the movie we just watched? That's not that cool.
No.
And then no, it was a guy from 6 years ago.
I mean, the only reason I remember him is because Biollante is seared into my memory. So, but yeah, the acting. I'm not gonna lie, it didn't really leave an impression on me.
Yeah, all the main actors were the same ones from the last few movies, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody who was, like, over the top interesting.
Yeah, nobody was really excellent.
And then, yeah, the pilot was just a plank of wood with a hat on.
Pretty much. He didn't even take the hat off. It was disappointing.
I mean, they were competent, so I guess a 6.
Alright, that works. The dub was fine.
Yeah, it would have been better if they had gotten Destroyer's name right.
They just kept calling him Destroyer, and then the first time they called him Destroyer, and then they said Godzilla, and I was like, we're back to Godzilla? And thank God that was the last time we heard that. Because we hadn't been hearing Godzilla was, like, real early.
Yeah, I think
that was, like...
was the last time we heard that.
Yeah. So, I don't think it needs any points.
Yeah.
Special mention. I want to say there are a few things. No, it needs to be the bridge. What the fucking... The introduction to the oxygen... Because I believe they're called oxygen destroyers.
Yeah.
The mini ones. The introduction to the oxygen destroyers in the random collapsing bridge followed by whee!
Yeah, no, I was thinking either
just
that...
Like, because all I imagine is is it running fast, cackling?
I mean, it doesn't help that as soon as it did it, I did like a little cackle like that.
Yeah, no. Great.
Yeah, the only other thing I can think of would be the will he or will he not become Sarasawa by the end of the movie.
There's that, and there's also, like, the CG, like, worst case scenarios that were all dumb, and also the tail grab that was just absolutely comical. The inverse tail grab, where it grabs Godzilla and just drags him in the background, and where you're just like, this is, like, supposed to be epic, but because everything in front of it is proceeding as normal, it's like, it's stupid.
Yeah, it was great.
Um,
But like no, the cackling Destoroyah second form.
like the oxygen destroyers being a bunch of cackling little school children went. It carried through their entire existence. And the energy continued as they returned during the big military operation. So, I'm gonna call them the OD Gremlins. And, I don't know, like, I think 2 points is...
Yeah, I was thinking 2 or 3.
Reasonable.
Because that first scene when you first see them, after the bridge, just imagining them cackling down the road. Because, like, the bridge just collapses. Like, there's nothing.
There's no setup.
It's just, we're looking at a bridge and then... Because
they just, like, go across the screen, and you're like, what the fuck?
Like, holy shit, what was that?
I didn't have time to process what that was. It just seemed like a bunch of people playing a prank. These monsters played a prank on the bridge. Oh, Lord. Alright, so we're looking at 15... Holy shit. Yeah, 32.
Finally, Astro Monster has been dethroned as the silver medal.
Oh my god.
It only took a lot.
A lot. Like, almost 20... Wait.
No, Astro Monster was the 5th one.
5th, so... Yeah,
19 movies.
I was gonna say, almost 20 movies, so...
18 movies and a cartoon series.
Man, fuck the cartoon series. Anyway, yeah, so that is the end of the Heisei era, so please look forward to the Heisei wrap-up, where, we get to summarize... I mean, I know how I'm gonna summarize Heisei, but, we get to summarize Heisei and just kind of reminisce on the second era of Godzilla.
Gonna be a good time.
Yeah.
See you next week.
See ya.